Yo, what's going on? Today I really want to share how I create my color palette sometimes, because if you've seen my work, if you've seen anything that I do, I love to add color to everything. Whether it's a mural, a painting, a sculpture, whatever I'm doing, I love to add color. And a lot of people sometimes ask me, where do I get my color ideas from? I usually have a color palette, but when I'm trying to branch out there, I have a sort of a process, but this process I'm going to share today. We're gonna go out in my neighborhood, 5 Points in Rhino, and actually walk around and gather as much inspirational sort of color palettes by taking pictures of different objects, streets, signs, buildings, cars, whatever. Bring that into the iPad and actually build a color palette based on the sort of that inspiration that I sort of gathered in my neighborhood. Actually just started out by walking around the building where my studio is and basically just taking photos of objects that sort of I walk by every day, but today I want to get inspired. So looking at the colors of those objects, even something as simple as that gray and red on a utility box next to a painted wall. Went down to other parts of the neighborhood and took pictures of stickers and murals and even sort of like garbage cans that had like this lime green on there and a door that had like a teal on there, which I really liked a lot. And it's going to be a lot easier than you think, because neighborhoods and businesses in those neighborhoods and houses in those neighborhoods are made to fit in. So a lot of times they're muted and colored the same way. So when you see something that sort of sticks out because of the color palette, you're just going to take a picture of that and sort of use that inspiration in your palette. So that's what I did today. So we captured a ton of inspiration out there. So let's actually bring all those images that we captured into the program Procreate on our iPad and actually sample a ton of those images so that we can create a unique color palette. We're just gonna open up that Procreate program right now, and then we're just gonna make a new file. You can just use screen size right there. Doesn't really matter the size. We're gonna go to that little wrench up there, and then we're gonna sort of insert a photo. So these are all the photos that we took, or I took, and right now let's actually do this little toy that I found in the back alleyway. Let's also do another one. Let's open up the tool again, insert a photo, and this little outlet, I like that. I like that red. I like that red a lot. And then there's like a little orange in there. But also let's try one more. Insert a photo. Go here, and then I like that one because it's almost similar to this one as well. So we're gonna put those two right beside that one. Okay, let's see. Open up the thing again. There's one with a little teal in there. Where's that door? I like that. So that door was really, really cool. The reds and the sort of bluish teal right there was really, really fun to look at. It sort of stopped me. So I'm just gonna throw that there. But what we're wanting to do is really just to sample those colors that are in there. So you can just zoom in there really good. Open up your palette. You can kind of see I've done this a little bit before in terms of just making a ton of palettes. Usually I don't name them, but we're gonna name some of these. But you just click on that little plus symbol in the top right corner. We're going to sort of just, let's see, toy colors. Not too creative when it comes to naming anything, so I just put that right there, toy colors. And we're just gonna sample the colors on this toy. So what we're doing right now, let me go straight to the reds first. So we're just gonna do that little color picker. Let's see, color picker. You can actually see some of those pixels in there when we're going through. And we're just gonna open up that little color dot in the top right corner again. And we're just gonna tap the first square. So now we got that first color. And what we wanna do is just keep tapping the color picker and moving slowly to those highlights. So we're gonna do it in steps. color picker again. There we go. Let me get that one right there. We're going to do it in steps. See, as you can see, it is sort of getting lighter and lighter. Those values are getting lighter. And we go to the mid area right there. Hit that color picker. Nice. Let's do another mid area. Just get a little bit lighter. Nice. And then we're actually going to just hit that highlight. Hit one of those highlights over here. And then actually get this one. That's a really light one. Not too bright. Not the brightest. Okay, let me get that one. See. Nice. And then we're just going to hit that highlight right there. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Bam. So now we got those reds. So now we're just going to move to these yellows. I like that combination of the red and the yellow right there. So get that color picker, that brown. I really like that brown. It's like a golden brown. And then again, we're going to hit a different area right beside that. Sweet. Just going to keep doing this over and over to get those that brown. And then this other side over here. Click that. Sweet. Now we're going to go in the main area because you can kind of see how each of these pixels relate to each other. As you sort of just dig down deep into, you know, sort of these images that we see, you can really decipher, you know, a lot. Oh yeah, I like that, sort of like a muted yellow. Sort of like a muted yellow right there. Let me actually put that over here. I'm gonna put that right there. No, actually, you know what? Let's delete that. Let's not use that one right now. Let's actually go stick to the yellow, the richer one. So we're gonna do that. Put that one right there. And then we're gonna hit this highlight over here. I like that pixel right there. Bam. So now we got those yellows. And then time for this blue. So this blue, you know, even the darkest areas, so you can kind of see that dark area right there, that pixel. Yeah, it's a really, really dark one. I don't like using black. I like using a lot of the blues and purples that are really dark. So any of my paintings or murals that you see, I never use black. And rarely I use white, other than to do some, you know, some highlight stuff. But rarely do I use white and black. Okay, let me see these pixels. Okay. I like that one. Looks like a good step up. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me get something in between that and that one. Actually, let me try this one. It's almost the same. So we're gonna delete that one as well. And yeah, you just gotta keep going. Let me see this area. Okay, let me try that pixel. That's a better one. So you just gotta keep going and searching your images for sort of these various colors that you really like. Okay, now we're getting into the really richer blues. So, okay, sweet. So let's actually, oh no, actually I think okay, sweet. So getting more into the main area. As you can see, it is continuing to get lighter and lighter. So I like that. Actually, let me actually pick a more of a highlight sort of blue. I like that one. And then let me get this really like almost like a baby blue. Let me get 3 different colors for this sort of this white area. And like anything, there's not really sort of a really white. Usually everything that you see is sort of like this off-white that exists. So this has like a little more of a bluer tint. And then we actually get that one right there. So yeah, this white is really sort of like a grayish blue, so that's a really cool color. So that is sort of like my palette that I got from this little toy over here. So you can kind of see the reds the yellows and the blues and this sort of off-white that I captured from this sort of image. And it was just, you know, going through the alleyway that we were able to sort of come across that toy and actually sort of sample those colors. So, okay, so now let's actually go to this one. And you can kind of see there's a sort of this red, this sort of gold, and this sort of like a salmony and like this orange area, but also has like these grays and everything. So let's actually make a new sort of palette. And then we're going to, I don't know what this thing is called. We're just gonna do 5 points. So 5, the number 5 points. That is the neighborhood I am in. So we're just gonna sample this red. Oh no, actually I think, okay, there we go. See that red right there? We're gonna sample that red. Boom. And then we're just gonna go to this mid-tone. So we're not gonna do a ton of steps in between the colors, each color. So we're just gonna get sort of like these highlights and everything, like that. Sweet. And actually let's try, yeah, there we go. One cool thing that you'll notice is that when you're doing the color picking and you're hovering over one of the areas, it will compare that color to the last color that you had. So, okay, let's like that really sort of like oranges, not orange, but yellow, muddy, brown color right there. And then actually, yes, let's try that color right there. Oh yeah. So we're getting lighter, people. So let's get that. Sweet. Picking that. And then actually let's go really light. Let me try that one more time. Oh, yeah. I think. There we go. I like that color. Bam. Let me try it over here. Get one of these colors. Ooh. It's like a, okay. Oh, I like that one. I like that. So that's a really yellowish brown. And then let me try that. Almost kind of like a gold. And then let me try one of these highlight pixels. These highlight pixels. There we go. Got a highlight pixel right there. I like this orangish area. Not too many sort of color variations in that orange. But I want to pick it up. Just see what it does a little bit. Actually, you know, there's a darker area in that orange, so actually I'm gonna do that. And then let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me actually get one more of these color right here. So we're just gonna throw that at the end. I like that. So you have the salmon color in the background, or this brownish muted sort of color. Let's actually throw that right there. Darker area. Let's throw that right there. And let me get a little bit of a highlight in that area. And let's throw that right there. A little step up. And then actually this side seems to be a little bit more richer. So we're actually just gonna throw that right there too. So, you know, we're just sampling some of these colors that we find in no particular order. You can rearrange them however you want to. But really it's sort of just the basic concept of sort of walking around your neighborhood and really just taking stock of what's around you and sort of just gathering some of those colors. So you can actually make an entire color palette with just one photo, or you can sort of mix and match. So that's what I'm going to do here. I don't want to make another palette for anything. I just want to take this blue, combine it with the ones that I got on the other image, and throw that in there. So let's see, let me take a lighter pixel. There we go, you can kind of see it getting lighter. So let's see, yeah, there we go. Now we cooking with fire. We cooking with fire, y'all. And then let me get a really nice highlight in there. Bam. You got that door. I really like that door. We already got a lot of reds. Actually, you know, let me steal one of these. A couple pixels from this little orange over here. You know, or this actually yellow. I'm sorry. Nice. And a little highlight one right there. Sweet. So we're taking pictures and we're just stealing colors from everywhere. This one, I've gotten a lot of red and yellows from this little toy area, which is very similar to this picture right here. So I'm not going to necessarily take it from this photo. So, you know, this is just basically the concept of gathering color palettes from the environment around you, from your sort of local neighborhood, and really just getting that inspiration. Something, so you just walk around, whatever stops you or, you know, takes your attention, you just take a picture of it, save it. It only takes a second, like you just saw me walking around my neighborhood. It just takes a second, and store it in your phone. And really, when you have time, throw that picture into Procreate or even Photoshop or another program, and just sample those colors, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't hurt to always have sort of a portfolio of palettes that you can sort of rely on. So you just have this stockpile of colors, and if you have a project that says, you know, I need to make a toy, or I need to make something on a building, you have these colors to really sample from. You can sample these bricks, you can sample that window, you can sample sort of like these colors in the window, the glare. So if you have a project that requires you to sort of create, you know, reflection, you know, you can actually just use that those colors in this photo to sort of do that project, or to help you build on that project. So that is the idea of taking photos and sort of just sampling it and creating a color palette. So that is how I create color palettes based on my inspiration in my own neighborhood. So you do the same. And if you like this video, definitely like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I'm gonna do more of these videos to sort of show you the tips and tricks that I use to sort of create my work. So you can do the same. So like I said, like and subscribe, and I will see you next video. Peace.